Hey guys, welcome back. DeFi, degens, drip, and farm for poverty. I'm your host, Drip Coach, dropping knowledge bombs on all Forex Shark related projects. And today's video, we're going to do a deep dive, detailed doggy due diligence. Yeah, I just had to find some alliteration for the D's, but going into the weeds on the dog pound and how it works and why it's so bullish for the ecosystem and what you can expect or forecast, extrapolate out in regards to payouts in this ecosystem. Now, take all this with a grain of salt. The way that this plays out, as Forex has said multiple times in the AMA, is very intermittent, spontaneous. There's no way to actually plot this because everyone will sell at different times. But I want to just show you the analysis I came up with and what I would say is very conservative and realistic, and in the short term, what we could expect to see and the stability of the dogs token going forward. So we're gonna look at the mint and burn that we've seen since launch, end of year predictions, price per dog, and what happens when the sales actually come. So all that and more coming up right now. So first, let's get into a little bit about how the dog pound actually works. So dog pound is an Animal Farm's single asset Animal Farm dog staking contract and loyalty program, which allows investors to reduce transaction tax by at least 0.75% or 1% a day on their dogs while earning a high yield in BNB or PIGG's dividend. So in a nutshell, if you're not familiar, basically on all of the pools and farms except for two, you earn dogs, but those dogs come with a 90% tax. The only way to reduce that tax is to come over here to the dog pound and stake them in one of two pools. When you put it in an auto compounding pool, you reduce your tax by 1% per day on the stake you added it to, or in the linear at 0.75%. So that's hopefully simple enough for people to understand. This is a very complex ecosystem, but I'm gonna try to break it down as simply as possible. All right, so those are the two taxes in two different pools. And as stated, you get BNB in this one. And then in this one, your BNB is held on the contract and then paired, taking a portion of it, pairing it, buying it with dogs again. So taking the wrap BNB, buying dogs, and then staking that on your behalf to earn you pigs. So that's what shows up here. These are your dog LPs. If you leave them in auto compounding, then they end up eventually earning you fractions of pigs. So that's it in a nutshell. Now let's look at where the money is made. This is why the Animal Farm is a truly innovative system. It is no Ponzi-nomics in this. The money for the dogs comes 100% from the taxes collected on Animal Farm dog transactions. So 2/3 of all taxes collected on Animal Farm dog transactions are swapped for BNB and paid out to dog pen stakers. Also, another positive note on the dogs, which reduces the supply, is every time there is a purchase of dogs, 3% of that sales tax on dogs is burned. So I'm going to show you how much we've actually burned, and the supply has indeed been reducing at a kind of consistent amount since the farms have been live. Now take it with a grain of salt. It's only been 14 days as of this video, but we can still extrapolate out and kind of see how this goes. Lastly, from all those fees, 3% per day is paid out from the balance of that vault. You see that here. The dog pounds BNB vault distributes 3% of the total balance to stakers daily. So if you're looking over here, you can see the basic metrics on the site here, but it's not as detailed as the site I prefer to use, which is cryptocoop.app/dogpound. So you come over here, and here you'll actually find a much more detailed analysis, the actual AFD BNB price, the pigs price, BNB price, the supply, yada, yada, yada. But more importantly, you find out how many dogs are locked in the contract, the amount of BNB collected, and what I was getting at, the actual rewards. So remember, 3% of this is paid out every day, and this amount is divided by the total number of dogs in the pool. So this goes out every day, and depending on how many dogs you have, you get that equivalent percentage basically. So you'll find out how much per dog is available there, and it's actually seen down here when you look at some of the additional details. Daily USD value for me, for my 1.22. I'll show you more details on the spreadsheet, but this tells you basically that it's like a couple pennies per dog per day, right? So it's about 11 cents per day in the linear pool. And then in this pool, it's, I forgot, I gotta look at the sheet, but different amount, because it's all based off of the actual amount of dogs in that pool. So linear versus auto compounding. So we want to also look at the total supply, because remember, market cap is supply, circulating supply divided by the amount or price. So in order to find that out, we need to know exactly how many dogs are being burned on average. And we can kind of see that on the blockchain. So we saw this last one 3 days ago, says there was 32,000 dogs burned. Then down here, there was another 100,000. That was the big one that Forex did. I don't think we'll have a lot more of those coming in, but I was able to use this data and basically determine about how many dogs per day are being bought or minted. And then that can give me the burn rate, basically, of what we're going through on a daily basis. So we have here on the spreadsheet, we got our initial starting supply on 1 November of 1.6 million. And now 14 November, we're sitting at 1.62, 1.65, 1.62 million. So that was a decrease of 27,000 dogs. And we can find out what the total value of that was, because, or a total amount that was created, because we can basically take this number and divide it by 0.03. Because remember, 3% is burned. So that would create a 900,000 amount. It's not actual dollars, but we divide that by the actual average price of dogs over the past 14 days, and we get 16.841. I got the average price of dogs just from the moving average on Dex Screener. So it came out to $53.50. So that's where I got that number from. So just by dividing that by 0.03, because of 3%, gives us 900,000. And then that's approximately 16,000 dogs from this number. And then if we look at the actual amount that was transacted on the blockchain, which could include some other dogs, remember, because there's dogs that were in the contract that Forex is unpairing from the leftover LPs that were not claimed. So that could be why there's a discrepancy in this number, and there could definitely be more in the future from that leftover. But I wanted to just get an average. So for this 32,000, that comes out to 20,000 actual dogs. And I took the average of those two to come up with how much we were basically going through on a daily basis. And again, take this with a grain of salt. I had to do all this just so I could have some numbers that had some kind of substance or reference somewhere that I didn't just pull out of my ass. So that comes out to, between those two, using an average and divided by 14, between those two numbers, it comes out to about 1,300 dogs per day that are being burned. So I can use that to forecast out what the price of the dogs token will be as we move forward in the calendar. So if we're burning 1,300 dogs a day, then that means the supply is reducing, supply and demand, simple math to come up with the actual price of dogs at that time. So here we have that breakdown. I have the supply at 1.62 million. That was based on when I recorded this video. And the value of 88 million total, the market cap. And when you divide those together, you get $54.31. If you want to know where that comes from right here. So we have the total supply and then the market cap right here. So these numbers changed a little bit since when I recorded it, but that's the numbers I was using for this chart. Then I can forecast out, like I just told you. So basically 25 days from the recording of this video, saying that the supply reduces 1,300 dogs per day. That makes the price $55, $55.66, blah, 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 right? So now you know where these numbers come from. These are the days. And this is, again, take it with a grain of salt, forecasting like linearly. Obviously, that's not the way any kind of market moves, but I needed some kind of data point so that we could look at, you know, what we can expect to make or see in the dogs token when these burns actually come in, not burns, I'm sorry, when the cells actually transact. Because remember, we are making money off of the taxes So when people sell and you're still in the dog pound, that's when you start to make money. Just a quick message, please like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss another video. This helps bring brand awareness to the channel as well as all Forex Shark related projects. Thank you. So we jump over here to the linear dog pound and we see that we have 214,000 stake. The vault has 2,700 BNB, which is a daily payout of 82 BNB, which per dog right now is 0.00385 BNB, which has a USD value at this price, because BNB right now is 286. So that's why, again, I stress this is not concrete. BNB changes literally every second, right? But you can get these values again from the crypto co-op. So you come in here and the linear dog pool, there's the total amount of dogs. Here's the amount of BNB collected. Here's what's in the vault. So remember, we're getting 3% of that. So if you take this, multiply by 0.03, this is the number you get. Really simple math, right? And then you divide that by the total number and you get your actual payout per dog in BNB. Remember, that is the power of the dog pound. This is in BNB. This is not an asset that we make up. It is the functioning native asset on the Binance Smart Chain, right? So per dog, you're getting this much in BNB, and if the value is 11 cents in USD, if BNB is at the exact price it is now, which we know it won't be literally by the time you're watching this video. So I'll take this slow and not overwhelm you guys with too much data, but basically, again, moving 25 days from now, if you're in the linear pool, you'll have an 18.75% tax reduction, and that the dogs are forecasted with the numbers I gave you to be $55. Now here's where it gets tricky. There is no guarantee that this amount of people will sell. So what did I do to get this number? I simply took the reduction of tax and said that many people sold. Clearly that's not going to happen. Could be definitely a lot less, could be more. I don't know what it will be, but again, I needed numbers. So I said, you know what, I'm just going to use the tax reduction numbers and that will be my forecast, because I would have had to run extremely long spreadsheets to run like 5%, 6%, 7%, 8% to show you all the differences. So if 25 days from now, the tax reduces to these amounts, 25 and 30, this is the forecasted amount of dogs sold. If the same amount of tax reduction results in the same amount of dogs sold, that means this amount of tax collected in USD equivalent value at the $286 BNB price. This is the amount of BNB that's collected. This is the total number of people left in the linear dog pound. So again, that is saying that this percent sold, no additional dogs were added, and now we only have 174,000 dogs left in the pen, or 166 if it's 30 days. That then makes the daily payout 189 BNB, which comes out to 0.001 BNB per dog, or a 31 cent USD equivalent value. You see how it starts to jump up. So it's already jumped up significantly, 3x, just because of these taxes, remember? So the taxes are the key. So let's go ahead and get into the fun part. Did the exact same thing, forecasting out all the way down to 75 days. I picked 75 days because that's when a large chunk of your tax reduction will be available. At least over half, put it that way. Again, that's saying that at day 75, which will be 15 Jan 2023, about 56% of the people decided to sell. This is the theoretical price of dogs at that time. It will result in this many total dogs, which results in this much value of USD equivalent of BNB. This much if it's $286 per BNB token, which we know it won't be, but again, bear with me because this is just fun for me to do. And then we end up with 93,000 dogs left in the dog pound. Again, if no additional dogs were added, and then all these people just at that same time decided to get out. This is the benefit. Remember, this is also if all these people sell like all at once. If it's over time, which again, we know it will be, then these numbers change dramatically. So that's why I said, again, take this with a grain of salt. But you can see the big difference now. You're getting almost $1 a dog when people are massively selling. So Forex clearly 100% created a system in which it definitely benefits the holders, because this is reflective of the dogs that you're holding. You're basically being paid in BNB to not sell your dogs. The people that are being penalized are the ones that decide they want out. And I don't think this many people would leave if the dog's price was this price. But remember also, If dogs 2x from here, then these numbers go up substantially if the same amount of people decide to sell. So this can get crazy very fast. $1 a dog is very, very feasible because it's going to take a lot of people a long time to get out and sell their dogs. Granted, of course, more dogs will be added to the system, but again, you see the game theory playing out. All right, so now let's dive into the auto dog pound. So remember, the payouts are pretty much exactly the same, except that you have the difference in the tax reduction. So therefore, people selling from the auto dog pound are gonna sell earlier, theoretically, because they'll have a higher tax deduction. So you can see right here, 75 days, they're only at 56.25%, whereas in the auto dog pound, they'll be at 75%. So that adds up very quickly and makes for maybe more sales coming into the auto dog pounding side. So let's just jump straight into the details using the exact same price again, based off of that 1,300 reduction. And then the same speculation of if the tax is reduced this amount based on days, then that amount of people sell. Again, for all you haters, clearly that's not going to happen, but it gives us some numbers to work with, which is the main point of all this. So if 156,000 dogs are sold at 25% tax reduction, that then creates 469,000 in the auto compounding pool. This amount of BNB is collected, and that goes to the tax vault with 3% being paid out per day. There's your amount of BNB per day. And let's just jump all the way down to 75%. So same thing applies. Dog's price at 75 days from now is $57, almost 58. And then there's 469,000 dogs sold, leaving only 156,000 left in the auto compounding pool. This amount of BNB, because now at this stage, 25% basically is what was being paid out in taxes. So the sweet spot is 50 to 60. Once there's higher amount of tax reduction, then obviously you get less rewards. So it doesn't go up as much, but let's just look at these numbers anyway. At the 50% mark and 60% mark, you're still sitting at 85 and $1, and then even at 75, it's still $1.30 per dog, because now at this stage there are a lot less dogs in here, even though less BNB has been collected. So you see again how this game theory really plays out. There are so many moving pieces. Everybody's gonna play this differently. I haven't been buying any dogs with my capital. I'm just farming them and kind of farming them at a slow clip. So obviously, you know, some people are buying them, but these will change dramatically. But you see, again, the main point of this experiment and calculation was to show you guys how much money can be generated from literally playing the game the way it's designed, as Forex said, the way the wealthy accumulate assets and leverage those assets. And remember, there are no Ponzi-nomics in here. This is 100% based on utility, because these dogs you're being paid out on the tax of these dogs. And this does not include any other gamification stuff, such as Dogs Roulette, which will be burning even more dogs. And the Dogs of Fortune, I believe, will have dogs as well. And of course, the Scratchies. So this is all based on the existing fundamentals in the farm without any additional utility added on top. So I am extremely optimistic, bullish, hopeful for the future of the animal farm, but that does not mean we will have sunshine and rainbows. It's going to still be some volatility, especially for drip, but the animal farm is holding up really well. And yeah, I expect it to continue down this path, despite all the things going on around crypto. As long as BNB and PancakeSwap are here, the animal farm will be here as well. All right. You guys know the drill. This was another deep dive. I hope, as always, it provided some value. Hope you can understand the fundamentals of the dog pound a little better and see how it pays out and what the utility is. And if any of that provided value, or you got some insight from here, then, as you know, smash that HBO special, help a brother out. Let's go ahead and push the subscriber count up. This is all I'm shilling to you guys, is my like and subscribe button. I don't even mention using my referral link or anything like that. This is what I enjoy, so I like to get compensated from this kind of stuff. So if you guys like it, you ask questions, then I enjoy making it. And that reflects in the likes and subscribes and comments. So until next time, lift daily and achieve your impossible. See you guys.